It's 4-0 Barcelona against Espanyol. Geisker, I'll come to you first. Is this Barcelona at their very best?
It is. I mean, for the very first second, the attitude and going for the game without hesitating and see what Espanyol is going to do. Usual Barcelona, possession, and waiting for the spaces to turn up. Espanyol, probably too many players near the box and not the right attitude when it comes to try to get the ball back. Too passive, in my opinion. Not trying to be aggressive. And if you let these Barcelona players have a second to think, they do like Busquets, they put you up past, right in Pedro's foot.
Well, we'll come on to that goal in just a second, but the opening goal was within 10 minutes. Everyone talks about Lionel Messi, but Xavi and Iniesta almost as good, aren't they?
Yeah, I mean, they don't score as many goals as Messi, but they're equally important for Barcelona than Messi. Totally, and that's a usual Barcelona play from one side, going to the other side, and a great cross from Xavi. It happened before where Xavi crossed a couple of times and nowhere was really getting into the box. Where normally with our striker you expect Fabregas or Xavi himself to get in there, and great run from Xavi.
Espanyol have just been blown over, haven't they?
Throughout the years since Pep Guardiola arrived, you had teams like Hércules, Numancia, Celtic, Celta, Almería, Valladolid. These are supposed to be clubs that have got much less money than Espanyol, that have come to the Camp Nou and have given Barcelona a go, a real game. Here there's been a problem of attitude, and defending is about attitude. If you're going to go to the Camp Nou, you have to defend. They just haven't been aggressive at all on pressure. In fact, tactics have been bad as well, because what are they doing? Are they defending deep? If so, you have to have some pressure on the man on the ball. And the choosing of players, all the players in the midfield, they're defensive players and just one guy up front. What do you expect to do at the Camp Nou?
You talk with such passion. But the second goal was just after 16 minutes. Now, it's been an up and down season for Pedro. I thought he started it really well, but this goal was quite crucial for him.
It is, obviously, getting his confidence back. It's lucky there that they have this last minute touch. And it's unbelievable how the ball goes through the Espanyol players. I think it's about 7-8 players in there and still managed to go through. And that's probably a reflection of what Espanyol is doing wrong. A lot of players, number of players, but not doing the right thing. You don't need so many players there.
In fact, what happened last season, it gets explained a little bit by the injury of Villa and the injury of Pedro, because Pedro not being getting any form whatsoever really last season meant that they just didn't have the depth, the ability to get a pass behind the centre-backs and somebody to find it. Alexis has done it for a while, but he doesn't seem to score. Now the effectiveness of Pedro has been unmatched at Barcelona.
It's the Pedro of old, and the movement, the way he went to the ball and then the defender went in and he came in behind, is absolutely fantastic. But Lionel Messi, he has to get on the score sheet. But was it a penalty for you?
I don't think it was a penalty.
Of course it wasn't a penalty.
I didn't ask you.
Sorry.
Not to blame the referee about the Espanyol losing, but it was already 3-0. But I don't think it's a penalty. I think
Why?
Because the goalie touched the ball with his knee, and Fabregas, I think, is just going down. As soon as he touched the ball, he's thinking of going down.
And if it's a penalty, it's a red card as well, so you got it wrong twice.
Well, he's not running towards the goal, he's running like away from the goal, so that would be a discussion, but definitely not a penalty for me.
OK, so Barcelona 4-0 up in the Catalan derby, and Tito Vilanova lifted all the players by being able to be on the bench tonight. I'm sure the players have lifted him with that first half performance. Second half, and probably more goals to come. Well, half-time at the Camp Nou. Great to see Tito Vilanova well enough to be on the bench for tonight's Catalan derby. The players boosted by that, showing the golfing class between the two sides. Xavi with the opening goal on 9 minutes. Pedro, a little bit of luck with the second on 16 minutes. No luck with his second for the third. Great movement, little dink over the goalkeeper. Just the type of goal he needed. The fourth one was a penalty, so Fabregas supposedly fouled. Up stepped Lionel Messi to make it 4-0. It's half-time. I'm just wondering, though, with the Ballon d'Or, I like Vicente Del Bosque, would like to see Andres Iniesta get the Ballon d'Or. He's not going to do it, though, is he? Are there any doubts?
I think, yeah, Messi will get it, but I think not just Del Bosque would like to see Iniesta with it. I think a lot of people would like to see Iniesta as a reward for what he's done recently with the national team and with Barcelona.
What happens with the voting now is changed. So you get the captains of the national teams and the national coaches voting, and the journalists as well. If he was just a journalist, or as he had been with journalists, you can get a little bit more of diversion. When you get involved, the coaches, the national coaches and the captains, they tend to go for the bigger figure, the one that's everybody's favourite in a way. Yes, what's happened since he became like that. It's more and more difficult for somebody, a number 2 or number 3 or number 4 or favourites, to actually win it. It's going to be won in the next few years by the Messi, by Cristiano Ronaldo, even though Messi didn't win anything last year. Last year. So, you know, from that point of view, perhaps Ronaldo deserves it a little bit more. But in any case, Messi seems to be everybody's favourite player at the moment.
But it should be different, isn't it? Because managers appreciate the work of the players, just not rather than the goals. So
I know
it's contradicting, isn't it?
But that's what's been happening. And can you take away the fact that Messi has scored 91 goals in one season? But is that enough to give you the right to win the Ballon d'Or? Or if you look at the titles of the team as well, like Cristiano Ronaldo, doesn't that give you more right?
Well, how many goals do you want? 100, 110, 120? Well, let's see if he gets any more in 2013 and rejoin our commentary team with Jerry Armstrong and Rob Palmer.
Welcome back. I think the only question at this moment in time is how many goals Barcelona are eventually going to chalk up against Espanyol. They don't play much cricket in this part of the world, but it could be a cricket score. Barcelona players a little late taking to the field for the second half. I can't imagine that it was much of a half-time lecture from Tito Villanova. Jerry?
I think it's much of the same. Just keep possession, keep doing what you're doing. You're creating chances, you're going to score more goals. And that's what I can say. I'd just love to see a little bit more of a response from Espanyol, who were pretty poor first half.
Well, the one thing that Barcelona, I'm sure, would like to freshen up this season is their shutout statistics. They've only had 4 clean sheets in La Liga. And Victor Valdés, who's normally top of the Golden Gloves charts, is some way behind Willy Caballero of Malaga. I think right in saying has conceded 6 goals less than Victor Valdés. So clean sheet would come at a good time.
Conceded 1 last night. He was
70 for last night.
He was exceptional last night as well, Rob. He made 3 or 4 very good saves.
There's Messi to Pedro, who's hunting for a hat-trick. Busquets. Now Messi. Spare man on this near side is Iniesta. Alba. They've had a 15-minute recess, but the style is still the same. Keep ball from Barcelona. Xavi. Alves fires it at Lionel Messi. Messi threads it through. I don't think he knew much about it there, Javi Lopez, but right place, right time. And Carlotto clears the lines.
It was almost a perfect pass from Lionel Messi, and then he goes to close down the defender Javi Lopez to win it back again.
Now, Barcelona have managed a couple of 5s this season against Real Sociedad and Athletic Bilbao, but they haven't wiped the floor with any particular team as they normally do. Last year they scored 5 goals on 7 occasions. And 9, wasn't it? 9 against Espanyol, the Copa del Rey, 8 against Osasuna. Javi Lopez gives Garcia something to chase. It's up against the whole Barcelona back 4. Support from Verdu. Easily anticipated by Dani Alves, who would run the whole field of play if they allowed him. Xavi. Iniesta. It's amazing how fit and fresh they look tonight in Hungary as well.
Well, it looks like the 2-week break has been very important to them. As I say, they've recharged the batteries and they're back in full swing. Looks like a great start to the season. Well, the other big plus as well, having Tito Villanova back after his operation.
It's quite a contrast to the English game, isn't it? We think they've played at least 3 big games over the festive period and then a lung-busting FA Cup tie at the weekend. So they've had 4 big games and Barcelona come back fit, fresh. Saw Cristiano Ronaldo for Real Madrid earlier in the day. Looks as though they'd spent Christmas on the beach in Dubai.
It's traditions, Rob, isn't it? There's always football on Boxing Day and New Year's Eve, New Year's Day in the UK.
This is the day that the children get their presents in Spain. Epiphany.
Epiphany,
they leave their shoes out.
Leave their shoes out.
Food for the camels.
Yeah.
Something you did, Jerry, when you were over there?
Absolutely. Everybody did it. Do you not know that?
What food do you leave out for camels then?
Well, you can leave it whatever you want. Dates.
Messi lets it go. Now Iniesta. Inside the fullback, but Garcia can stroll off his line. Drills it forward, but he would have given the ball back to Barcelona too quickly. This is Busquets. Good strength by Iniesta, who had Baena hanging off him. Almost 50 minutes gone, and surprisingly only the one yellow card so far. Lionel Messi. Alves. Xavi. Now Busquets. Iniesta has played this wide left role tonight. Fabregas. Is that one kind of hanging position in the Barcelona midfield? Sometimes it's Alexis. David Villa's had a look in. Tonight it's Fabregas that has filled the one position which is up for grabs.
So I think there's a lot of them are very versatile, though. They can play so many different positions. You know, I've seen Pedro, because he's got pace, he doesn't always stay wide in the wide position. His second goal was straight down the middle.
Verdu, another one who was schooled at Barcelona before moving on to further his career. There's three in their team tonight. The other one, of course, is Sergio Garcia, who was a regular scorer for the Barcelona B team. Scored 32 goals in his 2 seasons. He's actually played 10 times in odd appearances here and there for the Barcelona first team. Pedro, he looked like he was on the way out of the club until Pep Guardiola took over. Technical report said that he should be released. Guardiola knew better than that. Messi taking on all comers. Carlotto clears. Busquets. Now Xavi. Always available is Alba. Good tackle by Javier Lopez, more determined to get to it than Fabregas. Look at the determination to win the ball back.
He's so much pace, Jordi Alba. You know, you can give him a couple of yards and he'll just catch you. Super recovery run. He's not just a very pacey player, but he's a good athlete all round. He's got a good engine. And his pass, a little bit of a tug, so the referee brings back play. Bayena's not happy.
He's been in a stressful mood from kick-off.
He's had a couple of little bites at Messi in the first half.
He was sent off against Barcelona a couple of seasons ago. The decision was overturned. Clearly he gets fired up by their Catalan rivals. Call Barcelona Real Madrid El Gran Clásico, El Derby, but this is the true derby for Barca. Iniesta through the legs of Lopez. He went for the double nutmeg there, and the second man brought him down. It was Carlotto.
Well, it's high, it's dangerous. They're coming up to nutmegs, and
it was Baena who got booked. Carlotto was waiting for it.
Yep.
Must be weight down for the last couple of minutes, hasn't it?
I think that's frustration though with Baena, as I say, Rob. You know, conceding the 4 goals in the first half in the derby, they're fired up. At least he's trying. He needs to be careful now, though. He doesn't want to get sent off.
It's already Espanyol's worst defensive performance of the season. They've not conceded 4 goals in any previous game. It could be 5 at the moment. Ball floats in. Fabregas, well, don't see that very often, do you? An air shot.
Well, Tito and Jordi conversing.
So welcoming to see him down on the shop floor. Very interesting what Guillaume was saying at half-time, maybe before the game, about how the senior players have taken on the extra responsibility as the coach has been recovering from his pre-Christmas operation. They do have so many leaders here.
You know what the club motto is? Més que un club, more than a club.
Puyol to Busquets. Iniesta.
Oh, good
Bringing
ball.
the pace of Jordi Alba. Messi's in support. Slows it down to his particular pace. He's not been at his most effective tonight.
Sometimes he doesn't have to be when the others are as good as that. There's a
The
chance.
goalkeeper gets himself in a fair old tangle with Kiko Casilla.
Thing is, Rob, you know when you conceded 4 goals, you don't need to do things like that. Just get the ball as far away as possible. He's giving away a corner kick. It came off his hand, it came off the goalkeeper last, but the referee hasn't seen that, or the linesman.
He's one of the younger referees in Spain. We've hardly seen him tonight. He's kept a low profile. Senor Gil Manzano. That's been a pretty easy one to officiate. Garcia. Followed everywhere by Puyol, who wins that particular tussle. Ledu. It's a ball back. Baena to his right, clips it in towards Garcia. Good defending by Piqué, who stands tall and strong, and plays his way brilliantly out of trouble.
Well, he's been clattered. Good technique, skills. And is it Baena? I think it is Baena that's kicked him. He's just got a yellow card. He stands up here. He gets a little bit lucky there, but then good close control to get out of the situation. And this is the foul coming in. It's nothing much. It's much ado about nothing. It is a foul, but that's as much as it is. And
That was a handball
they're
call.
appealing for that's what they're appealing for, a handball.
Barcelona failed to score in 12 minutes of the second half. It was a goals fest in the first. Just joined us, Xavi, Pedro with 2, and Lionel Messi with his customary goal. There's Iniesta. Fabregas. Barcelona on course for their 12th home win in 14 games here this season.
Do you know, even the 50-50 balls, when there's tackles been made, the ball breaks, seems to break for Barcelona.
Xavi. Alves. Alba and Iniesta combine once more. Fabregas joins in. Yeah, defender lost the flight of the ball there, Galotto. Alba tries to go around him and still has possession of the ball. Galotto twists and shouts. Doesn't get very far.
A recovery run again from Jordi Alba. Rob, they're just all around you, snapping at their heels. Don't get a chance to get back on the ball.
There's the goal in the air here. Little flick on. Now Fabregas. And it's Javi Lopez in the way.
Well, it looked like he was bending that one in the far corner.
Fabregas waiting with 15 goals last season. He scored 7 so far. It's that time of the game where managers make changes. It's going to be Christian Alfonso who's going to bring some legs to the Espanyol midfield, or should I say defence, because they're playing a 10-man defence. And Raul Baena, I think he's probably taken off for his own protection, having been booked and close to a second booking.
Yeah. The second booking, well, the foul in the penalty area was a foul, but it wasn't a bad foul, and I think Javi Aguirre decided, don't take a chance, get him off. Good ball.
PK's up there, little flick, but a simple take for the goalkeeper.
Dani Alves has done well.
Barcelona preparing to make a change themselves. Thiago, I think, will come on in the next break of play. He's down on the touchline. Messi cut out by Moreno. Veru. Now Sergio Garcia, waiting for support. Garcia's putting quite a shift tonight.
Still retaining possession, keeping the width, stretching the defence as much as possible.
Xavi. Oh, there's a great run there from Alba. This is Fabregas. Flip in, but well anticipated by Capdevere. I suppose it's difficult, Jerry, when you're 4-0 up at half-time to really go for the kill. Part is
it's human nature, Rob, yeah. just to relax and think, well, just keep the ball and we'll have a bit of fun. And you're still waiting for the ball to go out of play to get Thiago on the park, and they can afford that luxury. They can rest players ahead of the Copa del Rey and give Thiago some minutes on the pitch.
Villanova's down there. He's the man trying to make the change, giving himself a little bit of exercise. Alba to Busquets, to Xavi. Oh, perfectly weighted pass, offside. Pedro got just a fraction early.
It was a tight one, I'll tell you. He saw the pass was on, he made the run. And this is vintage Pedro. No, he's level. He looks level when the pass is made, Rob.
Now Xavi is given a well-deserved break, and maybe his eventual successor is Thiago Alcantara. Brazilian roots, Brazilian father, of course. Some of the great Mazinho, the World Cup winner in '94, but he's already a Spanish international. Maybe the heir apparent in midfield. And Espanyol make a change as well. It's going to be Stuani who'll come on for Juan Verdu. Welcome to the man in the mask.
He's just straight from the Phantom of the Opera, hasn't he? He's come to the show. You talk about internationals playing for other countries because their parents, you look at Higuain, Gonzalo Higuain, he could have played for France. There's another one.
Christian Stuani is a well-travelled Uruguayan. Spelt at Levante, Albacete, Racing Santander side here in the summer. Suggestions they may go to a two-man strike force. Lovely backflip from Iniesta. Now they're putting on the style. Thiago. Alves. Messi's coming in the far post, but Garcia stops the fun.
I'll tell you what, it was fabulous football though. It was silky soccer.
And the second change is going to be made. David Villa is going to get a 25-minute or so stretch of the legs. Pedro. Alves. Thiago to Busquets. This is Alba. Lionel Messi.
What a ball.
Threads it through. Fabregas squares the ball. It's 5, but it's chalked out.
Well, that looked very, very tight, I have to say. Looked a goal to me. My first reaction was it was a goal. It was a valid goal. That's how I like to see. Onside. Level with the left back.
As soon as he became active, they snared Cesc Fabregas.
I think that's his last piece of play, isn't it, as well?
Well, a former Arsenal man goes off, and a man that has been linked with Arsenal and Chelsea and Liverpool and a host of English clubs, David Villa, comes on.
He's a proven goal scorer, David Villa, that's why. And he's not played many minutes of football this season, but he's still been scoring goals.
He still scored 8. He is, of course, Spain's all-time record scorer, 53 for the national team.
He's got 5 in the league and 3 in the Cup. Copa del Rey. He's putting them on league goals and not that many minutes of football, not many starts.
Sergio Garcia to the side netting. The thing about David Villa is that there's no great reason for Barcelona to loan him out unless he's unhappy and they don't want a bad apple.
But can they afford to let him go off, Rob? That's the thing. You know, Pedro's only got 2 more goals tonight. He was on 1 league goal. Alexis Sanchez isn't scoring many goals. So it puts all the pressure back on Messi.
Well, Villanova has no room for egos like Guardiola before him, and when Ibrahimovic started causing a step, he was shipped out to Italy.
Yeah.
And if David Villa's unhappy or moaning and groaning, it may be what they'll do is give him a little 6-month trip to London town. Or Liverpool. Or Italy. Here's Lionel Messi, who's going nowhere. Victor Sanchez. Capdevia. Chase that, he says to Sergio Garcia, who was slightly offside and not expecting it. The substitute, large turning circle. It's the first time that Valdez has had to dirty his goalkeeping kit tonight. Busquets got a tough game next week, of course. Barcelona, they go to the Costa del Sol to play against Malaga. Had a disappointing Saturday night, but still in the Champions League frame for next season in 4th place, 2 behind Real Madrid, or 2 behind Real Madrid at the start of today's play. But, Malaga and advancing in the Champions League, Porto to come.
Malaga have to play a lot better next week against Barcelona than they did last night, Rob. I watched that game and they were very disappointing, I have to say. Deportivo were the better side by a mile.
Piqué. Busquets. Espanyol across the line to Jordi Alba. A reminder that Real Madrid were involved in the earlier game today. 7-goal thriller. Iker Casillas was again dropped. He came on after 6 minutes when his replacement was sent off. And down for conceding a penalty. Ronaldo was the star turn once more. Villa to Messi, tiptoes through the defence. Now Villa could go left-right, tries to just toe poke it and catch Casillas out with the element of surprise.
Just a wonderful flowing movement from Barcelona, the one-touch play from Dani Alves and Messi, and then that pass is fantastic. Touch from David Villa, just one touch, half a yard inside to change the angle and try and hit the target.
Espanyol yet to register a shot on target. It was Barcelona's 7th. 4 of them scored. There's this reported difference of opinions and maybe a clash of egos between Lionel Messi and David Villa. There's only going to be one winner in that argument, isn't there?
Well, you know that and I know that. I think David Villa knows that too.
There's Pedro to Messi. There's no sentiment actually. When they got that penalty, Messi took it. It could have been Pedro's hat-trick.
True. But he's not the penalty taker, is he?
Now they tease and tantalise Espanyol.
Well, everybody behind the ball for Espanyol except Stuani, who's a lone ranger up front.
Iniesta glides. This is Alba. David Villa. Alba. Into the final 20 minutes of the Camp Nou. The first game of 2013. Barcelona so far breezing to a 4-0 success. Aguirre was always going to write this one off. The bigger picture for him, keeping them in the top flight. Well, 3rd from bottom of the table. Of course, the club behind them, Deportivo La Coruña, beat Malaga on Saturday night. And Espanyol are one of the teams with a fine history in La Liga. In fact, only Athletic Bilbao, Barcelona and Real Madrid have spent more divisions in the top league than Espanyol. Busquets. Iniesta begins to travel. Alba, his companion. Thiago. Nice touch. Oh. They're just denying him his hat-trick goal. That's 2 that he's had ruled out tonight, Pedro.
He said why? Again, it's this split decision, Robin. The pass is made. Is the player offside? The last one he was level with. Let's look at the replay. It's not even close. Not even close. He's well onside. Well onside. First pass there to, I think, Dani Alves. He's onside.
I think they're claiming Pedro is offside from the first phase of play, but then he becomes active, and it's... I'll tell you, I went on that referee's course to try and clear that up. After 6 weeks, I came away even more confused than when I started.
Well, like I said, if it's not broke, don't fix it. Why do they always want to tinker and tamper with the rules? Well, Dani Alves was definitely onside, Rob. No doubt about it. There's an elbow up there from Stuani. Busquets has made the most of that one, though, hasn't he?
Pedro to Lionel Messi. Confirmation that Stuani was booked for that elbow.
I don't think it was an elbow, Rob. I think he just jumped for the ball and Busquets made a meal of it.
And for a hard man midfield player, Sergio Busquets has a very low pain threshold. Well, they're living up to their reputation as the team with the worst disciplinary record in Espanyol. 15 fouls, though. They'll make it just the 3 yellow cards so far. Piqué. Alves. Thiago. Messi. Third and final change will be made. Shakes hands with the officials, even though they've denied him 2 goals. Pedro will settle for the 2 tonight.
I don't think it was the referee, I think it was the linesman on the far side who denied him. I don't think he was going over to shake hands with him, Rob. But he's played well tonight, that's one of his best games, and also the fact that he's got himself a couple of goals signifies that he's back, and Alexis needs to do the same, he needs to get a goal.
As you can see, they're rivals for the same position, but a tremendous team spirit and camaraderie at the Camp Nou. And Alexis Sanchez will get 15 minutes. The Chilean international, who was getting a run of games before Christmas.
Well, he joins Dani Alves in being the only other player on the park for Barcelona not to have got a league goal this season. So he's had 1 in the Cup, Alexis Sanchez, but none in the league.
Yep, goal against Benfica. Espanyol will respond with their final change as well. Albion will be introduced. Dani Alves over the head of Messi. Cleared by Alfonso. Carlos Puyol, maybe the veteran, the old man, out there on the pitch. 34 years of age, turns 35 soon. He's still got the legs. Thiago. The player can't really be pinned down to a particular position. He's just a good footballer. All over the top, and for the umpteenth time, it seems there's an offside. Sanchez,
that looked
obviously offside again.
That looked offside, that one.
It's going to be Samau, who's had little effect in the second half, who is going to be sacrificed. Albin will be his replacement. Well, Albin, who scored the equalising goal against Real Madrid recently. Ball through, right across the face of the goal, but it was offside against Alfonso.
Again, just offside, he's leaning offside. Tight decision every time though, isn't it?
I think he was on there, Jerry.
Yeah, tight.
Like the Barcelona offside, I think he was on.
Well, they're consistent, all the tight decisions have gone for the home, for the defence, obviously.
Don't forget, this is part of the triple header tonight. Coming up next is Mallorca, Jerry's old side, against second-placed Atletico Madrid. On Monday, we have the internet offering Rayo against Getafe, and on Tuesday, all of the talking points on Revista at 6:30 on Sky Sports 1. This is Alexis right across the back four. Victor Sanchez finds an escape route. Barcelona heading to their 17th La Liga victory in 18 games this season. Only points dropped, of course.
It's a draw against Real Madrid.
Yeah. Only 2 defeats in the previous 28 matches as well. Real in the Spanish Super Cup. They took the first silverware of the season. And the other one, the famous victory of Celtic. Busquets. Capdeville. PK. Bench calling for concentration. PK gives it away. Well, Barcelona concede. Well, Valdez gets in the way. He takes it personally, that clean sheet. That was dreadful defending by PK, and I'm sure there'll be a word in his shell like at the end of the game.
There's a foul.
Now, Lionel Messi, there was a foul. The referee didn't give the advantage, which may have been a mistake from the official.
He blew just a split second too soon, and I'm sure he'd like to let play continue. It was a good piece of play from Barcelona. They were opening up Espanyol, but Dani Alves was pulled back. This is an awful piece of defending from Gerard Piqué. Too many touches. Should have got rid of the ball long ago, and then when he does go to get rid of it, that's what happens. But you're right, Rob. He wants to keep a clean sheet. Victor Valdez stands up strong, spreads himself, does it right. Reminds you of the cat, doesn't it?
10 minutes to go. Might have a goal in the second half. Can Messi change that? Talking to the cat. He's as nervous as a kitten, the goalkeeper Garcia. It's Messi! The goalkeeper waits and has to be cleared off the line still by Victor Sanchez.
Well, that's why the goalkeeper was apprehensive. That one has hit the top of the crossbar, and he was beaten up and over Deppin. Oh my goodness. And then slower, that one would have went in off the bottom of the crossbar.
The 3 times World Player of the Year. Can I see it? Took the sweat off the brow of Carlos Puyol. Iniesta. Alves. PK's up there again.
I think he left it for David Villa, thinking he was coming in behind him. Well, this is it, Rob. Curling, dipping, spinning. So close to being goal number 5.
Almost perfection. Stuani, stopped by Alba. Busquets. Thiago turns. Carries the ball, has options. Messi is the first of the options. Alexis Sanchez glides it back in. Defenders are dizzy. Alves was waiting for somebody to make contact with his heels. Christian Alfonso. Albin taken off him so easily by Iniesta. It's his mind manner, he says. Oh, Iniesta tiptoes as if the 4 defenders weren't there. Now David Villa.
Well, sometimes you think it's stuck to his foot. He just glides past defenders.
Any other generation, Iniesta would be the best player in the world. Unfortunately for him, he's come around in the same decade as Cristiano Ronaldo and Lionel Messi. Certainly without a peer when it comes to midfield play. Messi. Thiago. Asking quite a lot of David Villa. Messi. Over the top to Alba. Incredible invention from Barcelona. Alba back. They've got as much energy now with 7 minutes to go as they had in the opening 10 minutes of this game, Barcelona. Meanwhile, Espanyol are looking punch-struck.
Yeah, but to be fair to them, they've kept a clean sheet in the second half. That's the big plus. They've defended much, much better in this second half than the first half. But as I say, the damage was done, and maybe Barcelona have taken the foot off the pedal, or have they?
I would imagine that it would be sweeping changes for the Copa del Rey in midweek. Second leg against Cordoba. It was uncomfortable when they went down to Andalusia. They won 2-0 in the end. Lionel Messi scored both of the goals. I think they needed the second to get them in the comfort zone for this week. Thiago, effortless through midfield. Oh, that was a bad tackle. Should be at least a yellow card for Moreno. Less charitable referees may have given a red for that two-footed challenge.
Well, he showed a little bit too much of the ball to Hector Moreno, and that's when he's knocked it too far in front. Then he's at full stretch. But that's a two-footed challenge, Rob. That should have been a red card. That's two-footed. Should have been a red card.
Dreadful challenge, wasn't it?
That's a red card.
He's a fortunate man to still be on the field of play and not serving a suspension. It's a grand distance out, but the goalkeeper still calling for a wall. There's little Messi standing over
That's
him.
because 5 minutes ago he hit the crossbar, that's why.
Well, there don't appear to be too many other options for Messi.
He's thinking about it.
It's the big builder from the supporters, but skies it for once.
I think he was trying to get more power into it because there was more distance. Just shows he's fallible, isn't he? Not too often, but he is fallible.
Incredible resolve shown by the coach, Tito Villanova, and surgery for the parotid gland just before Christmas, his cancer returning. It was a lovely embrace before the game, and you may not have seen it between Aguirre and Villanova. A great union between the managers. The name of Tito Villanova being sung by the supporters here at the Camp Nou as well. Iniesta. Barcelona do specialise in scoring late goals. They've managed 11 goals in the final 5 minutes of matches this season when they've worn the opposition down. And they normally go for one final knockout punch.
Well, you are right there, Rob. It's one of those where they do wear the opposition down. They work so hard to contain them. The last 5 or 6 minutes they make lots of mistakes and they get punished.
Messi. Iniesta to Villa. This is the centre half on the left wing.
He's venturing forward and he's staying up. He's going to take this throw in, is he?
Thiago. Gap opens up slyly into Alexis. Back to Iniesta. Well, credit to Espanyol. They've tightened things up since half-time, shown immense professional pride. Well, they get a souvenir goal from their visit to the Camp Nou.
Well, Victor Valdez hopes not. He's desperate to keep a clean sheet, but they should have had one. The mistake by PK. I felt they should have done better.
Thiago to Dani Alves. Lionel Messi made his debut against Espanyol 8.5 years ago now, 196 goals ago. Iniesta. Is that a use of an arm by Thiago? Referee on the blind side keeps the ball rolling. Minute and a half remaining. I would imagine both sets of players would be content to be blew up right on the 90. Barcelona to confirm the 3 points, to take them on to 52 points after 18 games of the season. When Guardiola won the league back a couple of years ago, they had 52 points after 18 games, so they're even ahead of that schedule. Tito Villanova has got off to the best start of any Barcelona new coming manager. Aguirre down on the touchline, orchestrating his players, trying to keep their spirits high. Alfonso, leg out from Alves, and the ball sticks to it. Busquets. 4-0 as the final seconds trickle away. Iniesta does a dance through to Lionel Messi, but the goalkeeper's always going to be the favourite to get to that. David Villa. Messi in attendance. Messi flips it, and he could see what he was trying to do over the top of the keeper.
Yeah, he was looking to dink it into the far post. It was inviting a little pass from David Villa.
And 2 minutes remain. Yet again, hardly a spare seat in the house. The must-see team in world football. They've got off to a flyer in 2013. Take them on to 52 points. That'll be 12 points ahead of Atletico Madrid, who are about 10 minutes away from kick-off against Mallorca. Real Madrid are on 36 points. It's a gap, I'm sure, that Mourinho and his players are not going to close, and I'm sure that Real Madrid will be concentrating on success in the Champions League, looking for a 10th European title. Messi right across the six, and Capdevere getting his desperately tired body in the way.
Well, they're trying to keep it to 4, make sure they don't concede any more goals in the second half. They've done well so far, and they've another 40 or 50 seconds to go. Corner kick to be defended first.
Alves. Messi. Busquets, there was a foul. And that is given by the referee, and then there'll be a number of those poor attempts at a cross tonight.
Yeah, they've taken 4-0 at the start, Rob. There's a little pat. Well done.
One for all for one.
Yep, start the second half of the season the way we mean to continue.
Well, 2013 they started as 2012 finished. Barcelona in tip-top form. They swept aside Espanyol tonight. All of the goals coming in the first half an hour of the game. Pedro with a couple, Messi with a penalty, Xavi as well, and Barcelona off to a flyer. Full-time score here, Barcelona 4, Espanyol 0.
There's no goals in the second half, but the game was done and dusted in those first 30 minutes. No surprises that bragging rights go to Barcelona in the Catalan derby. 61 goals now in just 18 league games. Sanya Rossell very, very happy indeed. That's 17 wins and 1 draw for Villanova's men. 52 points from a possible 54. 12 ahead of Atletico, who of course play shortly. As for Espanyol, well, they wouldn't have expected anything out of this game. They stay in the relegation zone. Well, 4-0 was the scoreline, but was the golfing class even bigger than that, Geiska?
Yeah, I think it was definitely the way Barcelona played, the attitude. Especially when they lost the ball. We haven't seen that for a long time in Barcelona team. And they carry on until even the minute 80, 85. They were still trying to recover the ball as soon as possible. But that's why they made Barcelona so big. Those players with the hunger of winning and never giving up.
4-0 the scoreline, but it really could have been 6 or 7.
Yes, it could have been actually. There was a moment where Espanyol could have scored, it would have been 2-1 and maybe a different kind of story, possibly not. But
Spoken like an Espanyol fan.
No, in any case, it was a Barcelona that are becoming not only the Barcelona of old, if you like, of the first 3 years of Pep Guardiola, but as effective as any Barcelona in history. We're talking about the team that statistically now is the best team in the history of the league at this stage, and it's not by chance. You can talk about millions of budget and difference and stuff like that, but it's more than that. There's a style, there's a way of doing, and there is players that have hunger. Are hungry again after a year of convulsion, if you like. And I think there is also the need to show the world that, yes, it may have been Pep Guardiola's team, but it was them playing in it. And I think they just raising the level to that, certainly than the last season and perhaps even of the years of Pep Guardiola.
Well, not many people thought anyone could improve on Pep Guardiola's Barcelona, but has Tito done that?
Definitely has, yes. And probably unexpected for most people, because after what Guardiola did with those players, nobody thought, anyone else, and especially Tito, because surprisingly, people might thought that it was all about Guardiola, but people that knew about the football knew that Tito was a big part of Guardiola's as well. And he's stepped out and even been, bigger than Guardiola at the moment. In numbers at least.
In numbers at least, and maybe so trophies at the end of the season. OK, well, Barcelona keep on winning. A great tonic for Tito Vilanova. Well, don't go anywhere, because we've still got one more game.